Most people start with numerology by learning what numbers mean. You look them up, you memorize them, you get familiar with the definitions. What 1 represents, what 2 represents, what 7 means, what 9 means. And then you start applying that. You see a number and you match it to what you have learned. And that works. It gives you something to hold on to. It creates a structure. It helps you make sense of what you're looking at, especially in the beginning when everything feels a bit unclear. Without it, you may struggle. At some point, though, something starts, or should start, to feel slightly off. You'll see a number, and the meaning you've learned doesn't fully explain it. It sort of fits, though not completely. Or you'll see the same number in different situations, and it doesn't feel like it's saying the same thing each time, even though the definition hasn't changed. That's usually where people either get confused or they just stick more tightly to the meanings. They try to make it fit. They assume they're missing something in the definition rather than questioning the approach itself. Because the limitation isn't the numbers, it's how they're being approached. Numbers aren't just something you read. They're something you notice. They show up in specific moments, in specific contexts, in ways that are connected to what's happening around you. If you look at them through fixed meanings, you miss that. You miss the pattern. You miss the timing. You miss what's actually being shown. And that's where your intuition comes in. It acts as your ability to recognize what is there, beyond what you've memorized. It's what allows you to see how something fits into the situation you're in. It's what lets you notice that the same number can point to something slightly different depending on where or how it appears. It's what fills the gap that logic on its own can't cover, because logic will take you to the definition. It'll tell you what a number is generally associated with. However, it won't tell you what it means in that exact moment, in that exact situation. That part isn't something you can memorize. It's something you recognize. If you rely only on memorized meanings, you miss what's actually being shown. A lot of the time people stop too early. They see the number, they apply the definition, and they leave it there without really looking at what's in front of them, without noticing how it connects to what's happening in their life at that point, without giving themselves space to actually see it. This links back to something bigger, because the way you approach numbers is often the same way you approach other things. You look for answers externally. You look for something to tell you what it means, rather than staying with it long enough to recognize it for yourself. That recognition only develops if you use it. If you don't use it, you simply don't strengthen it. If everything stays at the level of meanings and definitions, that's where it stops. It doesn't go any further. Not because it can't, because it isn't being approached in a way that allows you to. There's more to numbers than just what you learn they mean.